Johnson just passing it out to his right, tries to find Lewis Grabban. Lewis Grabban has the shot, he scores! What a fantastic goal! Lewis Grabban.
Now we are here for a transfer podcast, talking a little bit about what's going on at the club, Nottingham Forest, who's going to be coming in, who's going to be potentially leaving, what are going to be the costs of these players, incomings and outcomings. And we're going to be talking with a great person and my friend, Megaphone Man, who you may have seen on Door on Tour a good few times, absolute legend. And we're going to be, as I say, talking a bit about transfer news, about Nottingham Forest. We're both keen Forest fans, as I'm sure you'll see from my channel. I'm a keen Forest fan, although I have got a retro United top on today, but that is not because of anything. I'm just saying if it slips out, then I'm sorry. I'm not a United fan. But yeah, as I say, I'm here with Megaphone Man. So what do you think then? So lots of news been going around on Twitter particularly. And we're not going to talk about the Daily Mail or the Nottingham Post, but like the solid transfer news, Niakate, Awaniyi, if I've said that right, Nico Williams and Dean Henderson. They seem to be four players that we are pretty solid on.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me on, first of all. Yeah, I mean, I'd say exciting signings. Obviously, we don't know a great deal about the forward from Germany. I've looked at him. What I've seen, he looks good. He looks quick. He looks like an upgrade on Davis, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For pretty much around the same price that Villa are wanting, he scored 20 goals or 21 goals in the top league of Germany. So he looks quite a handful. Can use both feet. He can head the ball. In terms of the defender, I'll let you say the names until I get used to them. In terms of the defender from Mainz, I think it is. He's quick, which is what we need at the back. For me, I see him going in the centre, in between McKenna one side, Worrell the other. His pace just to tidy everything up.
Yeah, it's been. I don't know. I think that's been quite controversial recently. Because obviously you don't want to lose any of the three. Because they've been solid last season. But people, I think in nearly every single like kind of fake squad or predicted squad that I've seen, it's always been Steve Cook out, which I find interesting. And I hate to say this because I love Joe Worrell and I think he's amazing. But actually, if you look at the stats, he's probably third best out of the three. But he's a red dog.
More an age thing, isn't it? It's time for Worrell to really push on, given his age. Cook's there with the experience if you need to bring on a steady head, isn't he? I think that's the way they're going.
Yeah, I'm sure that probably, Steve Cook's like 31, 32 now.
Yeah,
like he's going to, rotation probably isn't going to bother him much, or maybe just playing first team sporadically. I don't think it's going to bother him like all that much.
Don't forget, you've got 5 subs now in a game.
Yeah.
So we're going to need a squad. So, I think he'll get plenty of game time. Maybe he's not in a position where he's going to be playing 90 minutes all the time. It'll probably suit him a bit better, given his age.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, anything that goes wrong now could end his career. So I'm sure that he's probably playing a bit cautiously, whilst also still wanting to have at least some game time kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I want to start off with Awaniyi, and I've probably said his name wrong. But I spoke yesterday it'd be the day before, because this is on Wednesday. This has been released at 12:30. So we're recording this the night before. But the day before this, I was talking about the Union Berlin striker, Awaniyi. He's got 15 goals in 31 games in the league. And then obviously he's got 40 goals, not quite, 20 goals in 40 plus games. That's including Deutsche Pokal and Conference League. So it's quite a solid ratio. And to be fair, some people have said, well, it's not the best of ratios. I mean, 1 goal every 2 games isn't awful.
What more do you want?
And also Keanu Davis, when he joined Forest, had 4 or 5 professional goals?
3 goals he had.
3 goals, yeah, like nothing. So you've taken the gamble ultimately. But this is where the next part comes in. Every signing you make is a gamble, right? We know that because he's not Premier League proven. I don't really think any of them are they really, except for Dean Henderson.
That's about it.
So
Roden, if he comes on, Rondon, whatever you call him.
Yeah, Roden. I don't know how much first team experience Morgan Gibbs White got at Wolves.
Not sure.
Yeah,
he's another one. He's another one to add on to the pile with the other 4 you mentioned, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he can make the step up. I do. I believe he can.
100%. I mean, I think Sander Berger's an interesting player as well. I'm surprised that there hasn't been much around him really, because I thought he would have been someone that Forest watch. I mean, the way that you saw him commend himself in the midfield in that second leg was fantastic. He was unreal, strong,
Plenty of
composed.
time to go in this window yet. That could happen. You don't know.
But then it comes down to that. And you saw this on Twitter, I actually did a little graphic, which I'm just going to get up for you all now. And it was kind of a graphic that and I'm hoping the screen lets me see it without it looking all bad. And it was a graphic kind of explaining how much players are going to cost, basically, because we've seen things going around. So I don't know how good. Oh no, you can't see that. Oh,
Yeah, you can see that.
you can see that to a degree.
Yeah.
It's probably backwards, but it says that
it's fine.
it's good. So Nico Williams, 15 million. Dean Henderson, we're not going to include it because it's a loan just yet. Nia Carte, they're wanting around 10 million is what I've put. Apparently numbers they want them to be higher. That's reports coming in today. Morgan Gibbs White about 20 million, and Awani 17.5. So 62.5 million. I mean, okay, they're going to break the record signing thing by like 2 or 3 times, but it's worth it, isn't it? It's not actually that much, I don't think, for those 5 players.
In retrospect to the Premiership, that's not a great deal monetary-wise.
Mm.
For us, it's a big deal, but it also leaves us money to spend on more players. Because let's face it, we had 6 loans, and they've pretty much gone back, haven't they?
Yeah.
So we've got to replace them and then add more quality to it. So you're looking around 8 to 10 players, aren't you? With Samba going as well, obviously.
They're going to need that, and I want to delve deeper into that actually. But the question I want to ask you is, do you see any of the loan players returning?
Yes.
And who is it?
Ghana. I would probably say Ghana. Zinchenko, nah. Personally, I don't dislike him. I like Zink. I feel he isn't consistent enough. And if he's not consistent enough in the Championship, that's probably why he's not a Premiership player. He's good, but with the lack of consistency, it sort of rules him out a little bit. Who else we got? Spence, obviously. That's anyone's guess, but my bet's on him going to Spurs eventually.
Yeah.
Davis, I think we might have a late bid for him because I still think we need 2 strikers because technically we'll have Graben, who's going to he'll sign his deal on a bit less money. We'll have Surridge, the new guy. And then I think we still need 1 more. You need at least 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe Davis, but we won't pay 15 million for him. No chance. You might as well go and buy someone else if you're going to pay that money.
I was going to say, because I spoke to an Aston Villa fan yesterday, and he said that he doesn't believe that Aston Villa actually would ask for 15 million, nor did they ask for 15 million, which is interesting because actually I thought that they did. You know what I mean? But then again, and this is the part of the media play.
Said that, didn't they?
Yeah, this is what the media play.
Yeah.
I just don't think 15 million is reasonable, and people are saying, well,
5 to 8 million is more than reasonable.
Yeah,
he's unproven at Premiership level. He only scored 5 goals. I say only. He only came for half the season, but
it was fantastic.
What else he gives you? It's what he gives you, and I think he'll still do that in the Premiership because he's a strong lad. He'll still bully people in the Premiership.
But for an unproven striker in the Prem, I think 15 million is hugely But then some people argue Awani, but then again, he's got 20 goals in 40 games, so he's got
in the German top league, Bundesliga, in Division 1, whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's massive achievement for him.
I watched a video earlier. He was the 6th top scorer. He only had 5 with him, and all those strikers are all with top clubs, and they include Haaland, Lewandowski, and some others. And he was only just behind all of those. So he's also got something about him, hasn't he?
You do wonder, I do wonder because, and this is something I was just thinking about, Steve Cooper obviously used to work at Liverpool. There's got to be some form of contact between him and Jurgen Klopp, right? Do you think that maybe Steve Cooper or Jurgen Klopp has reached out to the other and kind of said, look, what do you think about this guy? Or reached out to some staff at Liverpool and been like, what do you think of this guy?
Well, what I've read is that Cooper was there when he was there. Klopp likes him. The striker we're after, Klopp likes him. Couldn't play him due to work permits.
Right.
That's why they ended up selling him because of work permits. He wasn't allowed to play, so they kept loaning him out to try and get him a work permit. But now he's played up front for Nigeria. He can get work permits, no problem. Obviously, they'd sold him by that time.
Right, that's interesting. So there was clearly an interest to keep him then.
Well, I suppose they wanted to, but they moved on, didn't they? So.
It's probably fair to say they might have a little bit better strikers now. Maybe. You never know how he's going to do next season.
No.
But we've got Nikos just joining in with us now, so we're going to just allow him to join the room whilst we record. So Nicholas, he's probably going to take a moment to get his camera and stuff sorted. If he's on camera, I don't know if he is. But yeah, I think he's just muted. So hello, Nicholas. How you doing? You okay?
Hello, how are we doing?
Not bad, not bad. Good to see you.
Good, thank you.
Fantastic. Well, I was just talking to this is Megaphone Man, by the way.
How do, mate?
And this is Nicholas. I'm Jay. It's nice to see we're meeting.
Yeah, nice to meet you in video call.
In video call, it'll do, won't it? Now we just said, we're going to have a half an hour chat a little bit about football, and we were just discussing what loan players we think will stay, and we basically said Ghana. Well, I think that's what you said, Ghana. I'm going to ask you the same question actually. Now you're here, put you right on the spot. What of the loan players, or who of the loan players do you think will stay, if any?
To be honest, I think Ghana. I wouldn't be surprised with the Henderson situation and the possibility of not getting another loan if they don't do the option of a buyout clause. I wouldn't be surprised if we put a bid in for him, and because I mean he's not going to be getting goals under the new United manager. Sorry, he's not going to be getting games under the United manager as he would at Forest. And if he wants to look at his career for developing wise, he needs to be getting games in the Premier League. He will, unfortunately, have a bit part to play in Manchester United's squad, but at Forest he'll be starting regularly. So I'm sure he's mulling that over now. Now he's got back from international and holidays and stuff, but it's very interested. I think that's the most likely one. Spence, with everything that's going through with Tottenham, I'm not sure about that. And Davis, I think we've been outpriced with the 15 million. I think it's just too much money. And I think Ghana's the most likely option, really.
Well, yeah, we were just saying, and I think Megaphone Man, you said that you think he's worth 5 to 8 million. So what do you reckon about that, Nicholas? Do you think that's a fair estimation?
Davis, you mean?
Yeah,
I'd say so. He's got loads of. You could see his potential, you could see his skill. He's got a lot of skill. He's got power. He's back to goal. He's brilliant. But 15 million for a player that scored 5 goals before us.
He's not a goal scorer, is he? What else he does is what we need. Of course it is. But you also in the Premier League need goal scorers. It's what keeps what.
Thing is, we could turn him into that. Cooper could turn him into a goal scorer with Graben coaching him and stuff like that, which I think is a great move. That Graben's got another year contract or been offered, but he's not a goal scorer yet. And 15 million,
you have to take it on now, don't you?
Yeah.
On what he's doing.
It's a bit. I don't know about cheeky, but
it is.
It's like it's almost like you're playing with the player's career and future. Is 24.
Well, I would ask actually then, because somebody has mentioned, and me and my dad were talking about this actually, and he said, once you've made these 5 or 6 key signings that you want to make, they're quite not statement. I don't think they're statement signings by any means. I think they're just quality signings that we need. Then thinking about, like good potential players that could eventually be in the first team, that you're probably going to loan out for a season and have them back. What are your thoughts on bringing a couple of players from the Championship, in the team, perhaps not first team, maybe subs or whatever, because you've seen that Steve Cooper's a good coach. So, you could.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
It's like look at teams like West Ham, Bowen, and they brought a fair few good Championship players into their squad and developed them, and. Yeah, it's the way to go without. Look, we've got how much money? Like 100 million to spend, but you can't be splashing it. You can't be splashing it everywhere. You got to be smart.
There has to be some left for January as well, doesn't there? That was spoken about as well. So what do you think about that? Like, Lee, what do you think? What do you reckon?
just going back to the Davis thing, when he came on loan to us, Villa only valued him at 2 million. So you can see what they've done or apparently done. But in terms of Championship players, I wouldn't look any further than Lewis Potter. I would love us to sign him. I think he'd be a brilliant player. I think we could pick him up for a fairly decent price. And even if we do struggle for a right wing back, what about Isaiah Jones from Borough? They rated him more than Spence. Why not pick him off? We're a Premiership club now. It's our turn.
It's
our turn to pick teams off, isn't it? Like everyone did with our talent. It's our turn. Yeah. I think there'll be a few shrewd signings that will come in. Like you say, we haven't got an endless pot. I think these first 5 had a bit more quality than a few either like free transfers or cheap but shrewd buys. I think that from the Championship, for example.
Well, Keanu Lewis Potter's an interesting prospect because I think when I watched him at Hull, which was the last game of the season, wasn't it? And it was a rubbish game, probably one of the worst games I've watched in my life. He was absolutely fantastic. The way he tore on the Forest
I've watched a few bursts of that.
Yeah, it was like watching Houghton all over again, wasn't it? But what do you expect when you have like 7 or 8 changes? But Lewis Potter was someone that I identified as being quite good. I like Toffolo as well. He's quite a good, a solid defender as well. I think a lot of Sheffield United players are, So, but yeah, I think there's a lot of players that we like from the Championship. But this is it. Until we are a good few games into the Prem, we can really start to go, well, hold on a minute, were they actually Prem quality? Do you know what I mean? It's a hard call to make because you're always gambling.
Well, I've never experienced being in the Prem, so it's like it's an unknown world for me and you.
Mate.
Maybe not Megaphone Man, but
I'm the old man here. Then I'm
the old git. Definitely. That's what he's called now. The old git. So what was that like actually? What was that like for you? Seeing Forest in the Premier League? Because the feeling of them being back in the Premier League must have been more intense than maybe me seeing it for the first time. I don't know.
I'll have been 18 at the time. Yeah.
It
was good. It was brilliant the year we finished 3rd. That was brilliant. When we got relegated, when Hoydonk went on strike, I know why he went on strike. And
that's a different world.
100% understand why he went on strike. Yeah, that was a dark time. And ever since we went down, it's been pretty much dark times, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The odd flutter near the playoffs and stuff.
Well, this is it, Lamucci, wasn't it? I remember I interviewed Lee Wood, and we were talking, and I think it was the day after we just missed out on the playoffs, wasn't it? Because we had some stupid game. I think it was the last game. I remember speaking to him about it, but you know what? In some ways, it's been like a blessing because we've witnessed some really crap football. Could you imagine if we'd gone to the first or second leg that year with that team? We would have just been smashed over the first and second leg. It wouldn't have been worth it. I'd rather have just missed out, to be completely honest, than have to travel somewhere and watch them.
Knowing what we know now, obviously, at the time, everyone was gutted.
Yeah, without the players coming in Brennan Johnson, the main one, thinking about that. You need star quality in the Premier League, and he is. He really is. And
he can make the step up, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, arguably, and I want to play devil's advocate here, which I'm just playing because of this, because I love Brendan Johnson. I think he's class. But do you not think that we have to be careful of how we speak about players like Jed Spence as well, not to overdo it a little bit? Because I do think that Brendan Johnson had quite a quiet playoff final. And I think he's going to have a lot of hurdles to overcome. But that's not saying that he's not Prem quality. He's a young lad.
But what I will say now to that is he was technically a big fish in a small pond at Forest. If you have a look at how good he was and at times he carried us. Now in a Premiership Forest side, with the type of players we're bringing in, for example, Gibbs, White, this new forward, the defender, he's not the only big fish anymore, if that makes sense. It's more, it's not that we wasn't a team. It's not all going to be on his shoulders, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. I think what they're going to need someone that can deliver to him. And if you've got Gibbs White there and a good right wing back, then I think, you're good. But there has to be that. If you want to unlock what he's really, really good at, I think you will need those 2 key players.
I think that's why that Nico Williams thing, it excites me because
it works.
Chemistry.
Yeah, they're playing at Wales together, and imagine if they developed he's 20, Nico Williams.
Yeah.
About the same age, about 21.
Yeah.
22.
So imagine them developing together on that right hand side, both for club and country. I know Nico's a bit more defensive than Jed, but that could play to Brennan's strength too, in a way, because he's freer to run upfield and do what he wants rather than looking for Jed. Maybe, I don't know.
The thing is, he's still quick. Williams is, and he can still get forward and make things happen just the same.
We can mold him into that kind of player. Maybe that's the good thing about him being so young.
That's the key thing I think you've just pointed out there, molding players. Like the important thing about Steve Cooper is he doesn't just get players and put them in a team. You know, he gets players and he molds them into a team and he puts them out on that pitch every week. You know, he coaches that team fantastically. He's got a great coaching ability. You could give him any lad from the Sunday League and I'm sure he'd make him into the next Lionel Messi. Do you know what I mean? Like this guy, he really is special. And the thing I was most concerned about wasn't who we're going to sign in the summer in terms of new players. It was getting him a new contract. You know, what's he going to say? He's here till next summer. He could easily go, I just want the one season in the Prem and we'll see where we go from there. You know what I mean? And then it's
that wouldn't be a Steve Cooper thing to do.
No,
he doesn't come across as that type of guy, does he? He wants to give it everything, and by all accounts, he loves the club. So
yeah, whenever I've met him, it's been like that. Yeah, I know you 100% can. He's a humble guy. He's got the most respect for anyone. I remember I was in the press conference at Sheffield United, and somebody asked him a question about an individual player. I think it was Brennan Johnson. I think it was John Percy that asked the question. Steve Cooper straight away shot it down. I'm not doing it. You know, I'm here to talk about the team, not just one player. You know what I mean? And that is not something that you see in managers all that often. You know, he's humble, he's chill,
maybe going back to your point about overinflating Johnson stuff, and that's going to be amazing for Johnson. The fact that Steve Cooper is always going to be having a go at him, not in a bad way, but just keeping him humble, and his dad as well. So he's got very good people behind him to keep him level-headed and keep him on the right track, I think.
Yeah,
absolutely. And
he's even got Beckham for advice, hasn't he? If needed.
You see that picture that they took? That picture that they took, I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, they took.
Announce Beckham as a free kick taker, please. Come on. I mean, I love Garner's free kicks, but every time I see him before the match and say to him, "Oh, go and score a free kick out there," he absolutely he scuffs it. But he's been fantastic. But we're approaching the last 10 minutes. I know you've probably just seen that on the stream. We've only got like a 40-minute Zoom. I'm sorry, this looks so unprofessional, doesn't it? But I'm going to ask you all the question now, because we're approaching the kind of final moments. I'm not going to ask you predictions for next season because I just think that's bad omen, personally. But if there is any three players that you, or maybe two or three players that you would sign, other than the ones that have been mentioned properly, who would they be? Now, I'm not going to say, imagine you've got loads of money. Just imagine, you know, we've spent 62.5 million. Who are you bringing in?
Good question.
Oh, that is a good question.
Who realistically we're bringing in, or who would we want to bring in if we could bring anyone in?
But remember what I said about the money. You've only got a certain amount of money. So if you can bring them in that amount of money and you think that's realistic, then...
So none of the weird thing is we've been linked with every player, so it's hard to pick one out. It's not.
We've been linked with 100 players or more.
I think Chris Gunter. I say we just use the Chris Gunter money and bring him back. You know,
we've still got that. We've still got it.
Okay, but you know, seriously, what? Realistic, but you know, you can have.
Let's say one player.
Okay, let's go one player. Okay, bit less difficult.
Obviously, I'd have Spence back. But I don't know. Again, that's not sounding too realistic right now, is it?
Yeah,
that's a really hard one.
You know, with Spence coming back, like, if everything that's being said is true about, you know, him wanting to play for Tottenham and he prefers them over us, I'm going to be honest, I don't want him back.
No,
I don't want him back.
Do you know what? For me, if that's the case, he's a London lad, isn't he? His family's from there, so I get it. And with what he's done for us, I wouldn't begrudge it. If he chooses them, if he was in his shoes, more money, Champions League football, moving where your family are, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Let's be honest.
But equally, if it falls through, I'm still a bit like, I don't actually know. I hate to say it because I do want him back, but you know, at the same time, we've got to stray away from being a club that just has a player because we want them so much. But if they don't want to play for us, then why are we wasting our time?
Yeah,
This is where Man United
I get that. I think that's why they've moved on to Williams, haven't they? But the thing about Williams is he can play on both sides. We seem to be going for players with versatility, don't we?
So we could see Larea potentially in the squad at some point, potentially. Well, looking like he'll go out on loan, but who knows? But let's not shy away from that question. What player would you two bring in? I've gave you plenty of time to think about it.
I've said Spence. I took the easy one. I've gave it.
That is the easy one
for Nikos.
Sorry, you can't say Spence now, mate.
Yeah, no, I can't. If it's money-wise, I think, you know what? We need a left-back. I'm going to say someone like Callum Styles. Maybe, no,
he's gone
why
now.
not?
He's gone.
He's gone?
No, he's not on the radar anymore.
Oh, right, okay. But it's difficult. What are you saying that money-wise is not an option, sorry, or
no, money-wise you've got to take into account. Let's say we've spent 62 and a half.
Okay.
I'm not talking Alex Telles. Don't say that. I'm just thinking.
I'm really not sure. Because I'd say someone like Spence, to be honest, or a Morgan Gibbs-White, because I was really impressed with him last season. The way, well, he scored against us how many times last season? 3, 2.
Yeah.
And he's aggressive. He's strong on the ball as well, and he got 10 assists. I think that for Johnson and whoever that striker up top is, that's to replace Zinkernagel, who was very good. He worked hard and stuff, but he didn't have that consistency up front with passes and goals. I think that's the sort of player that will be key, because to release the striker or Johnson or just be attacking with him.
He's younger as well, isn't he? He's younger as well. You've got to remember. And, at some point, maybe Forest, I doubt he's going to stay until his late 30s. Do you know what I mean? Like, at some point, Forest is probably going to go, if he gets really, really good, you're going to get big offers for him. It's an investment as much as it is like we want you to play for us. The players I go for, and I've got two, potentially, they're both Huddersfield players. I thought they were class in the playoff final. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Lewis O'Brien and Sorba Thomas.
Oh, not Toffolo.
Yeah. Well, okay. Toffolo as well. Yeah, I mentioned it. Yeah. Can't forget. Yeah, I can't forget Toffolo now, actually. Yeah. So 3 players. I actually do think realistically you could get them all for under that, 30 million region. They want 10 million for Lewis O'Brien. You're going to get, Sorba Thomas has signed a new contract. So he realistically, I don't think you're going to get. But, you look confused there, Lee. I don't know what you're thinking. What are you thinking?
So you're basically saying raid Huddersfield. No, I was just thinking about Lewis Potter again. I thought to myself, Lewis Potter as well. He's definitely one. I would invest in him, regardless where you want him to play. He's versatile as well. He's 100%. He's another one I'd go for.
If only we had Figs on a bit of a longer contract, I'd be like, look, you're desperate for players. How about you have Figs and we have King Lewis Potter? It's a shocking swap deal, but we'll have him. We'll chuck you in £10
and plus some money.
Yeah, we'll chuck you in a litre of fuel as well with it. That'll cover your costs.
We'll pay the taxi.
We'll pay the taxi down to Hull. Oh God, that's just giving me bad memories of Wembley now, man. But yeah, so kind of we're approaching. We've got 3 minutes left. This is absolutely ridiculous. I blame Zoom for this. Stop it. Give me an exemption or something. It's been great sharing this platform with you both. We're looking to do a bit more of this. So if you guys are enjoying the transfer talks, I know that you seem to have enjoyed the latest video. It's got nearly 400 views in a day, so I'll take it. All I'd ask is if you can subscribe, please do. We've got something in the woodworks as well coming up, maybe later in the summer or whatever. So we're going to keep a hush on that. But as for now, do subscribe to the channel if you can. Lee, been great speaking to you. Nicholas, fantastic.
Thanks for having me on.
Honestly, great to meet you. The kind of parting comment, I said I wouldn't ask you earlier, didn't I? Do I ask? In fact, no, I'm not going to ask that question. What are your predictions for Newcastle first game? That's what I'll ask you.
I would be happy with a point, but I think we can get a win, personally. Obviously, it depends on who we sign out, because I think we're going to shock a lot of people this season.
Yeah, I think at the start of the season, we're more likely to shock people than, obviously, then later on, and I think, I think we could get a point or 3 at St James Park. I think we really it's like look back to the cup games. We 3 teams that like their fans at least really wrote us off: Liverpool, Arsenal, Leicester, and we shocked them. We shocked Arsenal. We really shocked Leicester, and that gives me so much confidence for next season. I know there's 5 lone players that aren't going to be playing for us, and we're going to have to replace them. But that core's still there of our defence, which I think is our best asset, with Cook, Worrell, and McKenna. I mean, what were we, 2nd in the league for clean sheets or something?
Yeah.
Even after our awful start.
Well, listen, this is it. And maybe the next time we talk, we could have Niakate, we could have Dean Henderson, we could have Nico Williams, we could have all those players.
We're talking about having Bale, couldn't we, by that time?
Yeah, we've not even got enough time for me to even talk about my thoughts.
Ramsey, what about Fabregas? Come on now.
I'll bring Ashley Cole
transfer,
out
number
time.
10.
Well, we're spreading rumours now. You can call us the Daily Mail. I'm joking. This is the Media Man. It's been great talking to Nicholas and Lee here, Megaphone Man. It's been wonderful. So thank you all very much for listening. Do subscribe if you can. Drop a like, even a nice little comment or whatever. And make sure that you don't comment on my Man United shirt that I've got on now. Okay, so thank you all very much. Cheers for tuning in, and see you all very soon. Thank you all very much.